This is Northwest Reports. I'm Maliha Sayed. Today we're heading to outer space as we gear up for World UFO Day.
I am amongst the group that did not know that was a thing, but it's a day for the UFO community to come together to celebrate their beliefs.
People can show their love for all things extraterrestrial on July 2nd. The World UFO Day has also been celebrated on June 24th, thanks to a 1947 event near Mount Rainier, where a pilot said he spotted 9 flying objects.
The second craft from the rear had a more or less crescent shape, and it had a hole in the center of it. And of course I kept mulling in my mind, that's the damnedest looking airplane I ever saw.
Not only was this incident the nation's first major UFO sighting, it also popularized the phrase flying saucers. In this episode, we chat with Carole Williams, an organizer with the Seattle UFO Network, about how her interest in UFOs began and the community she's found with others who share this interest. Before we dive in to the UFO of it all, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name is Carole Williams, and I'm one of the organizers with SUPON, the Seattle UFO Network. And I actually live in Everett, Washington. And I have had an interest and have been an experiencer in the paranormal for most of my life, and have had an interest in UFOs since probably my 30s. I've had paranormal experiences since my late teens, and I've probably had different types of experiences over, precognition, out-of-body experiences, telepathy, clairaudience, a lot of them. And with the UFO and alien phenomena, I am not personally a Skywatcher, and I have not had any direct alien or UFO experiences. I will say that it does sometimes run in families, and my grandfather saw a craft back in the 1940s, mid-40s, over his farm outside of Victoria, British Columbia. And my mother in her early 80s, and this wasn't too long ago, also saw a craft.
When you say Skywatcher, is that a term that's well known in the community of people who are interested in UFOs? Or could you talk a little bit more about that?
People really do enjoy going on Skywatches. People in the SUFON group will have campouts, and another group that's gained traction over the last few years is called CE5. And I don't have all the details on the top of my head, but that group specifically goes out to Skywatch for craft. Or it would be like people that would go to the Assetti Ranch in southern Washington, which is a hot spot near Mount Rainier. I mean, people go there for the experience of possibly seeing craft. They go there for Bigfoot too, but a lot of people in the UFO community, they do watch the skies.
I would be curious to know what piqued your interest in UFOs.
When I saw the cover of Whitley Stever's book many years ago, and there have been a lot of people that were triggered somehow by the picture of the alien on that cover.
Now, our first guest tonight is Whitley Stever. Now, all of his life, Whitley says he's had contact with UFOs. And last year, he wrote a book about it called Communion.
And when I saw that cover, something, and I don't know what, was triggered inside of me. It was years ago at the Northgate shopping mall. There was a bookstore in there. And I know it was in December because my husband and I were taking my son to see Santa Claus, actually. And I saw that picture in the store window. And then I went into the store and they had a display of that book cover. And I didn't have my purse with me, but the next day after work, coming home I worked at Swedish Hospital at the time, I went in and bought that book and read it. And so much of it just resonated with me. But the odd part was that is when I started buying UFO books. And this was like pre-Google, pre-computer. But I started purchasing UFO books. The first ones I purchased, this was years ago, and it was a lot of money at that time. But in Edmonds, I spent $50 on 3 UFO books that were written in the early 50s, hardbacks.
You're one of a few organizers for the SUFON Network group, or the Seattle UFO Network group on Meetup, and that's a website where people can explore interests, shared communities. How long have you been in the group, and were you involved with founding it?
I was not involved with founding it, but I did join in 2008. Right now, I would say that I was the main organizer only because I pay the meetup bill. There's 6 of us now. There were 4 of us. I've had 2 new event organizers come on board this year. So we really have a fantastic variety of people that are helping to organize. And we just post meetups, either in person or Zoom, based on our kind of interests and what we would like to do. So we get quite a variety that way.
So this is something that challenges people down to their core beliefs.
One of our new organizers is a new field investigator for MUFON, which is a national organization called the Mutual UFO Network. And so the other thing that SUFON does is that we are able to cross-post some other events to help with the variety too. So we cross-post with Vancouver UFO out of Vancouver, British Columbia. And I also like to cross-post the conferences, and especially post-COVID, the UFO paranormal conferences are happening.
Well, next week, dozens of the world's leading UFO experts will gather for the 10th annual Contact in the Desert. It's in the Coachella Valley. It is dubbed as the largest UFO conference in the world. We are excited to welcome 2 of the conference's featured speakers.
Yeah, what is the community like? Because it looks like there's over 1,500 members in that group. Are these people who span age groups, careers? Can you tell me a little bit about the membership and kind of the people who are active with the community?
You know, there is a range. I would say that it skews a little bit towards older. But with our organizers, we have Troy that's in his 20s. One of our organizers, Crystal's in her 30s. She is an active podcaster, and last year did our alien open mic in West Seattle, and she's now taking that on the road and is going to be filming from, I think, Puerto Rico and other places in the United States. Troy is a Reiki master and hypnotist. We've got a number of authors in our group and even people that are writing books. They're just very interesting, creative people, I would say. They're explorers, and probably more than anything, they're open-minded people. I can say that. And for the most part, very kind people, too.
Can you talk about some of the events that come up for people who are involved with the Seattle UFO Network? It sounds like there's an alien book club. There's a talk in Des Moines about how Washington inspired Men in Black.
Shortly after the 1947 flying saucer sighting, a man from Tacoma was in a boat off Maury Island near Vashon Island, and he said that a flying saucer dropped debris which damaged his boat and killed his dog. But the man said that he had been approached by someone in a black suit and told not to discuss the incident, and thus was born the meme we know today as the Men in Black.
Like, it sounds like there's such a range, and what are some of the ways that you have connected with people over the shared interests through the meetup group?
I like to help promote some of the UFO conferences that are happening to let people know that they're happening, because in a sense, it's kind of an obscure topic. The Men in Black that I think it's Steve Edmiston is doing is actually through Humanities Washington. And he co-produced a film a few years ago called The Maury Island Incident, which is an excellent film. And so now that Steve is talking about this Men in Black incident as related to the Maury Island incident, this is in like 1947, a couple of weeks before Roswell even happened. It's just, I'm really happy to be able to kind of promote that event. And he's speaking multiple times. And we had the UFO Paranormal Festival in Ocean Shores, and the McMenamins UFO Festival that just happened is an annual event, and it's been going on for more than 20 years.
Yeah, what happens there? I know you couldn't make it this year, but what's it like going to the UFO Festival?
UFO festivals are great. They always have interesting presenters. In McMinnville, it's the McMenamins Brewery, that Hotel Oregon, that hosts that. And again, it's been over 20 years that they've been hosting it.
The festival was founded as a way to honor the famous 1950 UFO sightings in the area by a farming couple by the name of Paul and Evelyn Trent.
They close down the street in the front of Hotel Oregon. They have bands, they have vendors, they have a UFO parade on Saturday. They have an alien pet costume. They have the alien ball Saturday night that people can dress up. And then they always have top-notch presenters on the Friday and Saturday of the festival too. So they're really good. And I've been to a couple of the international UFO congresses. And every time you go to any of the events, whether it's a Zoom or a conference or an in-person event, I think most people are like me, is that you're just looking for those pieces of information that resonate with you, that can help you almost tell your own story to yourself, because the experiences are also individual for people. That I think that that's what most of us are looking for.
We were talking a little bit about the Men in Black incident, and that's essentially in 1947, like a few people near Maury Island reported seeing some saucers. And separately, there was also that same year a pilot named Kenneth Arnold who reported seeing these flying saucers around Mount Rainier.
On June 24th, 1947, a pilot from Boise, Idaho named Kenneth Arnold was flying near Mount Rainier when he saw something extraordinary. He saw what he thought were 11 or so shiny discs speeding through the mountains at 1,000 miles an hour. And he described the discs as moving like a saucer skipping across the water. And the term flying saucer was born.
So Washington has this really storied history with UFOs. And I wonder, are there other fun tidbits or factoids that you think may be interesting for someone who's totally new to the world of UFOs about how UFOs and their history have kind of influenced and shaped Washington?
I think that you've really hit on the early history with, I think his name was Harold Dahl, his incident at Maury Island. Also Kenneth Arnold. I've read a biography of Arnold written by a man that lives in Mill Creek by the name of Gregory Long. And Kenneth Arnold has a fascinating history too. The other thing that some people might not know is that the National UFO Reporting Center is in Davenport, Washington. So the two main places that people report sightings to our NUFORC, the National UFO Reporting Center, and people also report their sightings to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. And so in Washington State, for MUFON, there is a state director, and then there are investigators throughout the state, so that when people do make a report, if they see something in Washington State, an investigator will be assigned to their sighting and can interview them and go from there with the person that has seen an anomaly.
Yeah, I was reading that Washington, at least as of a few years ago, was ranked as the #1 state for UFO sightings per capita. Why do you think that is?
I don't know exactly, but I think sometimes because there may be something to do with having the water, the Pacific Ocean. I think that we have quite a military presence in Washington State, and sometimes related to maybe Hanford.
Hanford was established by the U.S. government in 1943 as part of the top-secret Manhattan Project. Hanford played a critical role in the Manhattan Project, constructing the world's first full-scale nuclear reactor in just 11 months.
I don't know. And then I think because we have Mount Rainier and Mount Baker, sometimes I think that those mountain peaks may play a part in it.
It sounds like you've been involved with this group for years, and I just wonder, are there any favorite memories that you have?
Truthfully, I have to say that I truly enjoy every event. I really pull something out of everything. Right now, I'm really enjoying, he has written a book. His name is Jeff Selver out of Vancouver, BC. And I think he lists 26 abduction and experiencer encounters, which he has written about. So I have ordered his workbook and look forward to his next presentation.
If someone is interested in getting involved with the UFO Network group, how do they get started?
Well, the main group is on meetup.com, and it's listed under SUFON, SUFON, the Seattle UFO Network. We also have a Facebook page, and some of our events are recorded, and SUFON has a YouTube page also.
So as you can see, I've become pretty obsessed with UFOs, but it's not just UFOs, it's the paranormal as well.
Thanks for listening to Northwest Reports. This week's guest was Carole Williams. This episode was produced by me, Maliha Sayed, and Sarah Bernard. The story editor was Ryan Famuliner. Our executive producer is Sarah Menzies. You can subscribe to Northwest Reports wherever you listen. And whatever platform you're listening on, please review us. We'd love to know what you think of the show. Also, if you would like to support the work we do at Cascade PBS, whether it's our lineup of podcasts, the video docuseries we stream every week, or the in-depth reporting we deliver every day, go to crosscut.com/membership. In addition to supporting our journalism, members receive complete access to the on-demand programming of Cascade PBS. For the latest political, environmental, and culture news from the Pacific Northwest, visit crosscut.com. Northwest Reports is a product of Cascade PBS. I'm Maliha Sayed. We'll be back soon with another episode.